the Affinity Intercultural Foundation Day is critical within.
Thank you for joining us today, and I hope to see you again at our future events.
Before I start, I would like to begin by respectively acknowledging the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation as the traditional owners and custodians of the land of which we stand. We pay our respects to their elders, both past and present. And welcome. Welcome to another Affinity Lunchtime lecture. My name's Dr. Cathy Egea. I'm a member of the advisory board in Affinity. Now, for those who've never attended an Affinity event before, let me briefly introduce you to the organisation. Affinity was formed by a group of young Muslim Australians in 2000. Their aim was, and still is, to promote multiculturalism and foster intercultural and interfaith dialogue by building bridges between different groups of society. And today there's many groups of society here, so welcome. So to give you a brief idea of the wonderful work they do, Affinity have put together a video of events from 2017 and 18, and we're going to share that with you now.
Australia is a warm, welcoming, open country.
Having respect for all people, regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of gender, and very, very importantly, regardless of the colour of a person's skin.
People of all kinds are seeing the differences, I think, a little more clearly.
For me, it's about returning to the lived experience that people have on race and ensuring that we live up to the best of our traditions as a country.
The culture that they set will be the culture they inherit.
To be able to share more information, whether it's intelligence or case management material, whatever it is, faster and better.
In addition, the Department of Social Services is working closely with other departments like Employment, Education and Training, Human Services and Immigration and Border Protection on improving employment outcomes for humanitarian entrants.
And this has got to be the largest number that we've had here.
The night is about you and us, and as a community.
Learning from each other, that's what Australia allows us to do.
We are working together to make New South Wales safer. In fact, we have done that for many, many years.
As we've come from so many other lands that we were able to meet here as one.
We are the most culturally diverse country in the world.
We all learn a little bit more about ourselves and about our community.
Ramadan is that time of year that Muslims go deep. They reset the clock, take extra time to consciously reflect on their lives and reaffirm their commitment to God and to the precious bonds that connect us all as family and brothers and sisters in humanity.
Courage, dedication, mateship, a sense of fairness.
What we have seen and experienced by words and music this evening are the sort of things that hold us together and enable us to move forward together.
Inclusion is everyone's responsibility.
A great career, and it's wonderful to see them in the context of a great organisation, Affinity.
First of all, I'd like to thank our sponsors here, especially Mr. Ahmed Polat. Thank you so much.
Thank you to the Foundation for the opportunity to be here.
Faith is so profoundly important for our development and humanitarian work.
We've got some expertise here that is, when it's brought together, is extremely valuable.
So I asked the Vice President Global of Education for Microsoft why.
And those are the values that I would continue to advocate being taught in law schools in this country.
From a UN report describes Yemen as now the world's worst humanitarian crisis.
Thank you all for being here,
Thank you, Ahmed, and the Affinity team for allowing me to speak, ladies and gentlemen.
It's an absolute honour to be here tonight to help launch an exciting new lecture series focused on young people.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Barack and the Affinity Intercultural Foundation, I'd like to acknowledge the fantastic work that you do in the community in bringing different cultures and people of different religious backgrounds together. I think it's fantastic.
How human rights safeguards children and young people.
This is indeed a commendable goal, and I'm delighted to be here today to be part of that dialogue.
In my view, Affinity is doing excellent work to inform and advance multicultural Australia to keep peace in this country. Congratulations to Affinity.
Thank you, Affinity, for this wonderful opportunity. I, with Sev, laud the work of Affinity. There is no other organization working in the field of interreligious relation that does it the way they do it and promote actual encounter of an ordinary sort between people of all sorts of diversities. I think it's heartwarming. It's one of the few things in life that really continue to give me hope and joy.
Thank you for joining us today, and I hope to see you again at our future events. Thank you so much.
A wonderful array of events. I'd like to acknowledge some special guests in the audience. Consul General from Japan, Kizuko Takawake, welcome. Thank you. And staff from the Austrian and Fijian Consulate from Sydney are here too, so welcome. And before I introduce our facilitator for today, I would like to acknowledge the sponsors of the event today, the Light Book Store in Auburn. So today we have the special privilege of having Associate Professor Devleena Ghosh from the University of Technology, Sydney, to facilitate this program. Professor Ghosh teaches in social inquiry in the School of Communication in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Her research interests lie in the fields of colonial, post-colonial, environmental and global studies, specifically in the Indian Ocean region. Her projects include culture and commerce in the Indian Ocean region, intercolonial networks in the Indian Ocean, gender and citizenship among Muslim women in Sydney, and cultural participation and community building in Western Sydney, amongst many others. Devleena has been on numerous advisory panels for the Australian federal government and the New South Wales state government, dealing on Pacific issues relating to the Indian community. Please join me in welcoming Devleena to the rostrum, although I think she'll stay seated.